The holidays have always been like a somewhat difficult time for me. It's like the food. Hello, everyone, and especially my 19 subscribers. So today is a more so like me talking about stuff video. I am going to put up Slitherio or slither.io, depending on how accurate you want to be about it. Just to sort of give you something to look at. For those that don't know, Slitherio is basically if you ever took your mom's phone back when they had like the little Motorola bricks to play Snake. This is basically like a multiplayer version of that. Super fun, you should check it out. Anyways, what I want to talk about today is the fact that it's the holiday season and we already passed Thanksgiving and next is Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, December-centric holiday that you celebrate. And the holidays have always been like a somewhat difficult time for me. And they are for a lot of people, but for me it's not because anybody passed or because I get seasonal affective disorder or anything of that nature. It's like the food. The food aspect of the holidays has always been so tough for me. I have an eating disorder, and it's one that a lot of people have never heard of. A lot of people completely don't understand it. I 100% believe that some people think that it's fake, just because of the way people react to it. My eating disorder is called ARFID. What it is avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. To other people, what my disorder looks like is, oh, he's a picky eater. And no, that's very, very wrong. I have a very restricted diet. It basically consists of just a few foods that are very bland, don't have very overpowering aromas, are just not very interesting foods. Like peanut butter sandwiches, cereal. I eat mostly what's categorized as the toddler diet, which means like not a lot of, fatty proteins, not a lot of things that take a lot of time to prepare, things that have a presentation to them, not a lot of things that have, sauces or marinades or anything of that nature. And when people hear this, they're like, oh, he's picky, but he's in his 20s, he should be over this by now. And yes, if I was picky and I'm in my 20s, I should be over it by now, because a picky eater is most often a phase that toddlers have, where they're trying to, consciously or subconsciously, they're trying to test their limits with their parents to see what they can get away with, and to test what they have control over. And, when I was growing up, all of my parents' friends were like, oh, you can't let him get away with that. You need to force him to sit down and eat what's on his plate. And the hard part is that if I tried to sit down and eat what was on my plate, I physically got ill. Like, I just couldn't do it. It wasn't me being obstinate. It wasn't that I didn't want to try food. It was the fact that I literally could not. And that baffles people, that boggles people. People legitimately don't understand that, because to most people, everyone loves food. Like, everyone loves the social aspect of food. You want to hang out with someone, you go have dinner, meet up for lunch, and it's a very social thing. Holidays are centered around, like, Thanksgiving. That's entirely centered around a meal, a giant feast. And kind of the same thing with Christmas. Like, it's gift exchange and feast. And if you're into like the super religious-y aspect of it, then church. But that's pretty much most holidays is, 4th of July, you have a barbecue. Yeah, list any holiday and it revolves around a meal. I mean, the theme of the holiday could not have anything to do with food. Like Valentine's Day, it's supposed to be about love. What do most people do to celebrate Valentine's Day? They go out to have a nice meal with whoever they're with. It baffles people that I legitimately, physically can't tolerate food. which also is like, they don't understand that because biologically, obviously I need food. Obviously I eat every day. But yeah, the way that ARFID works is that it technically is classified, it's classified as an eating disorder, but it also is a more advanced form of a phobia. And, while I can sit and look at food and I'm not like consciously afraid of it, apparently the deeper psychological aspect is the fear of food, which is something that I'm still like trying to understand myself and trying to come to terms with. And, there are treatments for people with ARFID, which I am trying to do because I would very much like to not have this. I would like to be able to go to a restaurant, any restaurant, and be able to eat something. And people in my life, even, knowing me for however long they know me, have a difficult time understanding this. Every single holiday, like if I am with my family, then someone has to bring up, oh, Patrick's not eating. Yeah, no duh, I'm not eating. Everything in front of me literally makes me want to be sick. When I started dating DJ, I let him know, and I'm not throwing DJ under the bus by any means, but I let him know, like, hey, I have an eating disorder. It's going to make things a little bit difficult because I can't do things the same way other people do as far as, food goes. And he was like, oh, what is it? Is it like bulimia? Is it anorexia? And I was like, no, it's ARFID. And of course he was like, I don't know what that is. And, I was like, I expected you not to know what it is. But basically what it is I have a very restricted diet. I just can't eat. And his response was like, oh, I thought you meant like a real disorder. This is a real disorder. It's something that affects my life pretty severely, like every day. But yeah, like, and DJ is a great guy. But he like heard that, and I'm sure his mind instantly went to like, oh, this guy's just picky. And it's like, no, like put something down in front of me and I legitimately will get sick. Like it gives me anxiety. When I say sick, like I literally mean my stomach feels like it is going to jump out of my mouth. Just from sights, smells, if I even attempt to try something, like if its texture is off, if, whatever, then it will give me a very visceral physical reaction. And people just don't get it. And in fact, like it's so bad sometimes because a lot of people just want to laugh at it, which, I can understand, like, while I'm trying to make it better, like there's no point in dwelling on it. But I had a job for 4 years where literally anytime that we had a holiday party, a meeting, like a whole company meeting or whatever, there always seemed to be time set aside to laugh at the fact that I wouldn't eat what was brought that day, or that, my favorite meal is fries. It's like, which by the way, that's not true. Like, and I hate that I have to like express that, but I do enjoy French fries a lot. Most people do. But that's like, that was a constant running joke there all the time. And I even was like, hey guys, I don't like talking about this. It hurts my feelings that you guys like make fun of me. And this is supposed to be a professional environment. And it still happened. Like, it still continued until I left there. And that was the thing, is that like my employers didn't even know like why I was unhappy there. Like, granted, there were other reasons that I wasn't always thrilled to work there, but that was a huge one, was that like I felt like I could not safely go to even a mandatory meeting that I could not get out of without being like ridiculed in front of my coworkers. So yeah, sorry, got like way out there. But that is why I just wanted to make a video about this, is that like the holidays do center around food. And food is a very personal thing. I can consciously understand why most people thoroughly enjoy food, eating, trying stuff, sharing food with their loved ones, yada yada. But that being said, please be mindful that if someone says no, then don't take offense to it. Don't push it on them. Don't try and persuade them Just accept no as an answer. That was, another thing is like at that same job, this woman would consistently offer me food, and I straight up told her, like, look, I will not accept any food that you offer me. It's nothing personal. It's just I literally won't eat anything. And she got so bent out of shape about it. She thought that I was insulting her as like a woman, as a cook, that I just didn't like her. And none of that was the case. It was just that literally everything that she brought in, if I were to get it close to my mouth, I couldn't. And like I've even had people that try to, I don't even know. I had someone the other day, I was trying to explain to them, like, I don't like the holidays because of food. And they like went on this big tangent about how I've never had good food, and that must be the reason. I need to get good food. And it's like, really? I've been alive for almost a quarter of a century and I've never had good food? That's the reason that I don't like food? Really? Really? Genius. It's so irritating. And like food is such a big part of people's lives that, yeah, people get bent out of shape when you don't like a certain cultural food, when you don't like something that they specifically pride themselves on making. But like, especially now that it's the holidays, make people just feel important and included in the holiday just because they're there, and this doesn't have to specifically, mean food either. Like, don't make them feel bad or awkward about not participating in, for me specifically, it was always, I felt bad about not participating in eating. But, there are other parts of holidays that people maybe just don't want to participate in that just don't. Just mind your own. So I don't really know how to end this. Sort of just my PSA, like, there are people out there that are going through stuff, and your opinions and judgments on what they are going through is almost always unnecessary, almost never wanted, 100% is never warranted. Be aware, be conscious, be nice. Have a good holiday, have a good rest of the holidays, whatever you're going to celebrate in December, New Year's, all the holidays that quickly come. I think around like April, it slows down, like after Easter or something. But yeah, with that, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys liked hearing about this. Hope you guys liked watching me play Slitherio on the screen. Leave a like if you thought that this was informative. If you, comply, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about ARFID or another eating disorder that you either have or know somebody that's had or you've had personal experience with. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you're not new and just haven't subscribed. I promise not all of my stuff is like this. Sometimes I do touch on touchy subjects. But yeah, with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.